أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أحييكم جميعا بتحية الإسلام وهي السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. نفتتح مجلسنا اليوم إن شاء الله بقراءة أول سورة من القرآن وهي سورة الفاتحة. Good morning, Professor Tan Sri Dato' Zulkifli Abdul Razak, Chairman, Board of Directors of USIM, the Honorable Vice Chancellor of USIM, Professor Dato' Dr. Musa Ahmad, Emeritus Professor Dato' Dr. Hud Muhammad Saleh, Professor Dr. Cassandra Kalevani Nadaraja from Kuala School, Ms. Handa Krishnan. My name is Amma Abdurrahman, your MC for this morning. It gives me great pleasure to welcome you today. We see the culmination of an initiative undertaken by USIM and the Association of Voices of Peace, Conscience and Reason, PICO in short. This initiative is primarily to enhance spoken and written English of the administrative staff in USIM. To welcome you and speak about this initiative, may I please request Professor Tan Sri Dato' Zulkifli Abdul Razak to say a few words.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Meeting of peace and very good morning. Yang berbahagia Datuk Prof. Musa, Vice Chancellor, my good friend Professor Emeritus Hud, was still the handsomest man in UKM. Now he's a property. He still is. Now he's a property of USIM. So, Dr. Cassandra Nadaraja from PICO and also Ms. Handa Krishnan, my good friends, all the participants of the TEDx USIM this morning. Let me first of all welcome you and thank you for making space and time to be with us this morning. This is actually an overdue sort of process. We wanted to have this very much earlier once you completed the course, but because of various reasons we need to postpone it today. Even today, we are missing a very key person, which is Dr. Halimah. She's supposed to be here, but she has to go to Melbourne, and her apologies for this. I would like to be just very brief to underline why do we have this particular program today. There are two folds. One is basically to celebrate your achievements after almost 6 weeks.
60 hours.
Of doing an English lesson, quote unquote, from the very person who actually propagates the use of English, Ms. Handal, Mrs. Halimah, and also Dato' Hamidah, Dato' Halimah herself. Now the whole idea of doing this was basically initiated by FKP, a group of us, which always think that English is not a big deal anyway. Yeah? But it was made so. Every day in the press, particularly in the English press, tells us how bad our English is. Keep on reminding us that our English is not that good. Yeah? My English wasn't that good at all. When I was your age, when I was in university, we are still making mistakes, right? But the point is that we speak the language, whether we like it or not, whether there's errors or otherwise, we go on continue speaking the language. And I always liken the learning of English like playing football. Yeah? You can read as many books as you want on football, but if you refuse to go to the field and start kicking the ball around, you will never be a good footballer. Theoretically, you may be one of the best as far as football is concerned, but don't dream to be a good footballer. And English is something like that. If you don't speak the language, if you don't make all the mistakes that you need to make, if you don't build the confidence and the use of the language, then you'll never be able to do it. And I think this is something that we're missing the point as far as English language is concerned. I spoke to a Japanese friend. I told him, do you do English in Japan? They said, yes, we learn about English. So all the grammatical things and stuff like that, I think they are good at it, but they still cannot apply it, because they have not used the opportunity to speak the language. So this whole idea of trying to demystify bahawa bahasa Inggeris itu adalah sukar, ya, and particularly in Muslim this should not be a problem because most of them, if not all of them, master Arabic. And Arabic, I can always say, much more difficult than English. If you can do Arabic, I think English is chicken feed. Right? So we need to change this mindset. And you are the group of people, we use you quote unquote as a guinea pig, to tell other people in Muslim, if this group of people can do it, then everybody else can do it. Right? So today is a kind of a eating the pudding, as it were. Yeah? So that we can tell the university and particularly the Vice Chancellor here to witness that English can be used in Muslim apart from Arabic, apart from Bahasa Malaysia. Now we are going to Japanese, inshallah we will go into Mandarin. So all these collections of languages should be something that we can master in this particular university. Yeah? That's the first thing. The second thing we are hoping also, emerging from this exercise, we will then try to extend this into other projects or exercises. Yeah? Particularly I'm interested in terms of writing. How do we learn how to write now? Now we can speak the language. From speaking, writing could be another thing that goes in. So how do you then learn how to write? Particularly in issues that relates to Islam and culture that we are supposed to be responsible for, at least in this particular university. How do you begin to explain to people that IS is not Islamic? And you can only do this by writing. You can only do this by engaging with people and debating about it. If you keep quiet about it, then nobody will be able to learn from you, and nobody is able to engage with you. And particularly now, with the new leadership in the United States of America, a lot of odd things are coming out that we need to debate, we need to counter, we need to engage them with, and we need a space for this. And I'm hoping from this we will decide, inshallah, to extend this into a different kind of mode of writing and apart from speaking and so on. Yeah. So that is the whole idea today, and then we brought in Dato' BC, and thank you for your time, Dato'. As a kind of an inspiration to you, that the university, inshallah, is recognizing efforts of this nature, although it is not a mainstream effort, it is paid through research grant, so that we can also, give you the benefit of the money that we've got, not only for the researchers, but people who are also helping with the research on the periphery, and also now coming back into helping the university when there is time for you to use your language and so on and so forth. Okay? So on that note, I would like to congratulate all of you, yeah, for your performance. Not only that, the report that we got from Dr. Halimah, from Ms. Andal herself, the kind of enthusiasm that you demonstrate in class. Yeah? I know Shuhada, pagi Jumaat, she will disappear because she will go into this way, which I don't mind, and I think she ought to do that, make space so that you can develop yourself at the same time, yeah? And using this particular skills to move yourself not only in terms of English, but your career mobility at the same time. Yeah? So there are many things that you can harvest from this, and I hope, inshallah, with the barakah that we are trying to get from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that we will move forward not only for yourself, but also for the university in the long run. Yeah? I also like to recognize Prof. Hood, Dr. Mahazan, who is not here. These are the two key people who are actually prodding this along as and when it is required. So lagi sekali saya ucapkan tahniah kepada semua yang telah bertungkus lumus belajar bahasa Inggeris ini, dan mengharapkan bahawa bahasa ini akan menjadikan USIM dan juga kita semua seorang manusia yang lebih insaf dalam penuntutan ilmu dan menjadikan universiti ini seperti mana yang kita harapkan, insyaAllah. So, terima kasih banyak. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Tan Sri. And now, I would like to request Professor Dr. Cassandra Talabani Nadaraja of PICO to enlighten us about the PICO-SIM collaboration.
Professor Tan Sri Dato' Zulkifli Abdul Razak, Chairman Board of Directors, USIM, Honorable Vice Chancellor of USIM, Professor Dr. Musa Ahmad, Emeritus Professor Dr. Hud Muhammad Saleh, and Ms. Andal Krishnan, ladies and gentlemen. Salam sejahtera and good morning. Greetings from PCOR, in short for Peace, Conscience and Reasons, and I bring salams from our President, Dato' Halimah Muhammad Said. I am delighted to be here this morning with you to celebrate the 10 graduates from the language program, language and communication program, conducted as part of the Communication Enrichment Initiative by the Mizan Research Center of the Faculty of Leadership and Management, University Science Islam Malaysia. This program is a flagship program of PCOR by which we have used members. Ms. Andal is a PCOR member as well, and Dr. Hamidah is one of our executive board members, and Dato' Halimah. Three of them have worked together to run this program with you all, and from what Tan Sri had mentioned earlier, the reports have been excellent as to how you've conducted yourselves and how you've progressed from where we started, from whence you started. Honored guest of this morning, today's ceremony is to mark the advancements you have made and to graduate you into graduates of the language program. And the 10 participants here are specially selected. I have no idea as to what criteria were used, but you were specially selected to be part of the cadre of USIM, who has participated to be schooled in the proper usage of English language and to communicate in English language efficiently. Through this 20-odd weeks, I understand, over a 6-month period, you have been schooled in building your confidence and in English communication, to speak succinctly and to convey your message clearly to your audience, and to use proper tone of written and spoken English in addition to grammatical accuracy, structure in communication, and to understand what you have read in the written material so that you may respond accurately. The immediate outcome that this program was designed for is to train the participants to present their works or their presentations at the USIM Kampung Mizan conference, which was held last year. And I think it went very well. From what I've heard from Dato' Halimah, it went very well with the students. And in addition, you provided a 500-word article to be included in Leader magazine. So today, as a culmination of your entire English language program, you are going to give us a 7 minutes presentation. And I'm sure all of us who are seated in the front table here are looking forward to that presentation. And we are going to be seated in awe, listening to how you perform this morning. So I believe there's also a long-term goal to this program, which is to ensure that you don't stop here, that you progress from what you have learned to write more articles. As Tan Sri has mentioned, he wants to see your progress into not just communicating in English, but to write in English. And I understand that some of you here are research assistants as well. So translating your work into written form is very crucial for research people. And I mean, coming from UKM myself, I know that the management of the university is always breathing down our back to produce more and more publications. So I'm sure you are also in the same seat, hot seat, yeah? That you need to produce more publications. So I hope that you will use the knowledge you have garnered from this program into translating it to written form, and as in all cases, practice, practice, practice makes perfect. You're not going to get it right the first time around. None of us did. None of us did. None of us is so talented that the first time around we were Shakespeare. So let's just try our very best to do our best piece of work in the first time around, and then from there build your confidence and write better pieces in the years to come. At this juncture too, I would like to say that PCOR is ready to be of service in motivating and training your staff and students at USIM, not only in language, but in any regards of human resource development. We would also like to extend our invitation here today to the top management of the university to a closed-door dialogue rakyat session, which will be held to address issues of national cohesion and unity, which PCOR is a member of. It's from 9 to 1 a.m. on the 8th of February at Academy Science Malaysia. We have already had a few sessions earlier, and this is a closed-door meeting involving certain individuals only, and to discuss as to how even universities can participate in national cohesion and unity drive. Before I conclude, I would like to thank the management of USIM for giving PCOR the opportunity to address the graduating class of the English Language and Communication Program. With this, I thank you all.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you. Now, before we hear the speeches of the graduates, let us hear from the trainer of the English Language and Communication Program, Ms. Anda Krishnan. Please.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm nervous. I'm nervous because there's a lot of expectations, and rightly so. And so I'm going to start with that. Professor Cassandra has already said why we are here, why it has all started. But I want to tell you how the journey has been. Now, when the VC came in, he asked me a very pertinent question, which is, did you make an impact? And that's very true, because at the end of the day, for all the time, and let's forget about the money, for the time I spent and they spent, there should be impact. So what you can't measure doesn't exist. Yes, we did measure, and I like to believe there has been impact in 3 areas. The first area is, and I can say with much confidence, English is no longer a myth. I like what you said. We have demystified English. It is not so difficult that people cannot master it. With the right techniques, everyone can master the language. So we have demystified it, and now today they don't think in Bahasa Malaysia and translate into English, but they think in English. So the first step we have made is the confidence and enthusiasm level. Now how do I measure that? As trainers, we know we start with a class of 10 people, and sometimes you're lucky if we end with 7. But here, we started with 10 and we ended with 10. For that, I need to thank all of them. And then the third impact is we are moving forward. At Class 3, there is an article on every talk they've made today. You would hear the verbal version today, and then there'll be a written version which will be published in the leader. On the topics, which are all very interesting, on various topics, and it will be written in the leader. So you get the verbal version and the written version will be different. So they will see the transition. When you speak something, how you tell a story, and when you write, how you need the formality. One of the main reasons why this has been so successful, and how lucky can you get? We have the chairman of the board and the vice chancellor of the university, just to see that their staff has done well. That's been a great, great boon. And not to mention Professor Hood has dropped in several times to give the motivation. So if you see when the top one sit, those in the second and third tier will definitely want to do better. All in all, it has been a journey that I've enjoyed. Thank you so much to each and every one of my 10 participants. They're all my friends now. We got great time because we're in a chat group. We exchanged a lot of information. And I want to continue the chat group because the friendship that we have among the 11 of us has been peerless. And there's absolutely nothing in the world that's more important in education than the friendship and the bonding that has come. And that we have achieved. I wish them all the best. I'm always there for you at any time, anything you want to know. And I'd like to propose that we start a Toastmasters Club in USIM. I'm a mentor, Toastmasters mentor. And these 10 will be our initial participants. And then the speaking will come and others can join as well. So again, I have to ask the top management to take the initiative. Let me not keep you waiting for the most important item of the day, the speeches by the 10 participants. Over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Krishnan. Now, it is time for us to listen to the participants of the program. Each speech will be 6 to 8 minutes on a topic close to their hearts. Our first speaker is the Assistant Registrar in the VC's office. He has a law degree and he wants to be involved in work that benefits the greatest number of people. Please welcome Mr. Muhammad Saifullah Zulkarni.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and a very good morning. First, I would like to express my gratitude to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala for His mercy. We all have assembled here to hear our version of TED Talk. Actually, tomorrow will be my happy day because tomorrow is my birthday. But I need, before we reach to my happy day, I need to face today which is my nervous day. Okay, thank you to the honorable distinguished guests for your time and my colleagues who directly or indirectly contributed to this ceremony. So my topic is the curse of credit cards. I'm sure that the topic may sound quite spooky, but I hope that all of you can take the benefit part from what I'm going to talk. Actually, I'm a law student, but I will explore and explain the technicality of this finance matter and hope that all of you can understand it. Okay, before we move to the main content, let me introduce you who is the Mr. Credit Card. In other words, let's look to the history of the credit card. In 19th century, consumers and merchants exchanged goods through the concept of credit by using credit coin and charge plates as a currency. Charge plate considered as a predecessor of the credit card. Then the Dining Club card is one of the most popular stories regarding the development of the credit card. The story began in 1949 when there is a man named Frank McNamara who had a business dinner in the New York's Cabin Grill. Unfortunately, when the bill arrived, Frank realized that he forgot his wallet. From that point, he managed to search an alternative to cash. And then in 1950, he returned to the cabin and paid the bill with a small cardboard. At that time, the card was mainly used for entertainment and travel only. Then it became the first credit card. In widespread use. So, frankly speaking, the perception of people actually influenced the usage of credit card. Actually, credit card had a lot of benefits if we can use and manage it wisely. But it also can in fact destroy our life if we use it unethically or overuse it. The Sinar Harian newspaper dated 24th November of 2016 quoted the Deputy Minister of Finance, Dato' Osman Aziz, that until the middle year of 2016, there is 1,022 credit card holders declared as a bankrupt. The amount showed that 0.03% of 3.6 million credit card holders in this country. Even though the percent looks small, but indirectly it affects the perception of the credit card. There is a story about a doctor who earned 26,000 ringgit per month, but he was still declared as a bankrupt because he was reported to have a debt for almost 200,000 ringgit. For me, actually, 26,000 ringgit is a huge amount where I can benefit it such an investment, or in fact I can lead a decent life. But I'm sure that this doctor do not know how to live within his means. Okay, there is an issue. I obtained 2 credit cards without applying for it formally. The 2 credit cards were posted to my mother's house, and the reason is because I made a loan. I used the bank to make a car loan, and they give me an extra benefit of the bank through the 2 credit cards. So, if I'm a person who loves to spend money easily without any purpose, I will grab them and put them nicely in my wallet and feel proud. But I know myself, and I'm afraid that I cannot manage and use the credit card to buy or shopping through the online shopping like Lazada, eBay, and others. So I didn't take it. So actually there are a lot of benefits of credit cards, such it is convenience because we can save time and less trouble where we do not need to search an ATM and keep cash in hands. Or in other benefit is the credit card also can track our expenses, where some credit cards provide year-end summaries to help us file our tax. Analogically, credit card is a good servant but a bad master. Like water, a small amount of water can benefit us, such water in a swimming pool, water to plants, a glass of water for every 30 minutes to avoid us from dehydration. But a huge amount of water, like tsunami, may affect a particular area or in fact destroy a whole country, such in Japan in 2009. Literally, credit card is just a plastic card, but it is very powerful. It shows that size doesn't matter. If we are unable to manage our finance, the results can be a loan shark, maybe a divorce, or even suicide. In the context of Malaysia, the government provides the counselling agency and the credit management (AKPK) to help people who have a problem in the personal financial management. AKPK has helped 1,000 of people to settle their debt until finish. I just want to end my story. There was a guy named Walter Kavanagh, where he possessed the record. He holds the record of the largest collection of valid credit cards in the Guinness World of Records, where he managed to have 1,497 valid credit cards since 1960. And the card caps in the world's longest wallet, measuring 76.2 meters in length and weighing 17.49 kilograms. And if you lay down the card end to end, it would reach the top of 4-story building. This guy, also known as the Mr. Plastic Fantastic from the United States of America. See, it depends on how, I forget. Actually, the magic part is, Kavanagh managed to pay all of his credit card every month. That is the magic part. So it means that it depends on how we use it. So do not blame the bank who give us credit card easily. Okay, as a conclusion, I would like to share a nice quote from Sayyidina Ali Abu Talib. Knowledge is a paramount. Knowledge protects us, and we can protect our wealth. Thank you very much for your attention.
Now, we now have another member of the VC's office. She is the secretary to the VC. She has a diploma in executive secretarieship. She enjoys cooking and baking, and apparently her chocolate cake is what you can die for. I give you Mrs. Nur Ashkin Musbah, who will deliver her speech entitled Separation and Source. Separation and Source.
You look at your garbage and you see plastic bottles, a pepper, unwanted food, perhaps a glass bottle or two. And I know it is very tedious for us to separate trash and go to because we don't have recycling bins in front of our homes. Some of us don't want to walk to where the recycling bins are placed. It is really an effort to separate trash and go to a recycling center where the recycling center in the neighborhood. But we need to make the effort as most of the neighborhoods to have recycling bins. Nowadays, more and more recycling bins are turning up everywhere. Making an effort to recycle is one thing, but many people are not aware how to recycle the right way. It is time that all of us rethink the way how we manage our trash, because the garbage we throw away never really goes away. From the moment I started to separate waste, I realized how much recyclable waste there is in my house. Therefore, I believe it is our responsibility to care for the planet together, and it needs collective effort. Let us do it religiously. In my talk today, I will tell you why and how to recycle and the benefits of recycling. First, the why. The government has made it mandatory to separate solid waste at source from 1st September 2015 under Act 672. This ruling will be implemented in stages. Clearly, I strongly support this program, and I believe it will improve our solid waste collection and management in the country. I believe soon there will be a fine if the garbage is not separated accordingly, and rightly so. There was an increase in waste by 10.3% to 1.9 million tons from 2010 to 2011. The Malaysian government wants to increase the product recycling in Malaysia from 11 to 40% by 2020. Tossing everything in the trash is a hazard for everyone. In addition to the obvious problems in landfills, certain metals, electronic waste, rubber, foam, and other materials contaminate groundwater. Speaking of time consuming, did you know that paper takes 5 months to break down in a landfill? Milk cartons take 5 years, plastic bags take 10 to 12 years, and a glass bottle take about 1 million years. We cannot afford to destroy our Mother Earth. The process of separating solid waste at source involves separating solid waste according to waste composition such as recyclable waste and residual waste. The separated wastes are collected every week by the council in Nilai according to fixed schedules. For example, in my neighborhood, the collection for residual waste is every Wednesday and Saturday. The collection for the residual waste, for the recyclable waste, is on Thursday. A pamphlet has been distributed to make people aware of Act 672. How can we separate our solid waste? There are 3 easy steps to follow. First, separate according to types of waste, recyclable waste like paper, plastic, and residual waste. Second, temporarily store recyclable waste in suitable containers and residual waste straight away in the garbage bin. Third, place the recyclable waste next to the garbage bin on collection days. For your information, I am actively separating the recyclable waste at my home. I want to be a positive inspiration for the people around me. When I started this, I realized that so much recyclable waste in my home itself. What more the whole neighborhood, the country, the state, and the country. Our small steps can lead to big impact. Why do we need to separate solid waste at source? This will prevent of recyclable materials. Reducing the amount of recycle went to landfills can help to reduce pollution. Last but not least, it is an offense Public Cleansing Management Act 2007 or Act 672 not to separate waste, and the fine can be exorbitant. In total, Malaysia produces 110 million tons of waste a year, and it costs 1 billion ringgit to manage it. Yet, at the same time, our waste recycling rate is way below the average level at a mere 11% of total solid waste being produced, compared to 57% in Singapore and 66% in Germany. Let me tell you the benefits of recycling. When you recycle all products and have less dependency on new products, obviously, you will end up saving some money. In brief, I do believe the implementation of Act 672 is a good start. We don't want to live in a pile of rubbish. Waste creates a huge negative impact on nature and the external environment. The solutions are actually quite simple: throw away less, cycle more, and separate waste at its source. The trash well thrown is treasured in more than one way. Thank you.
Our third speaker for the day is the Secretary to the Dean of the Faculty of Leadership and Management. She has a diploma in Secretarial Science. She also advises friends and relatives in financial and wealth planning. Please put your hands together for Mrs. Norita Muhammad Noor, who will share her knowledge in a speech entitled Parenting 101.
Assalamualaikum and good morning to distinguished guests and all my friends. Most of us here are parents, and we all love our children even more than ourselves. There is a good reason why we do that. Children come into this world helpless and unable to develop without us. I'm sure almost everyone here is a parent, and we all share our experience in nurturing our children and give our best to them. Do you agree with me that the parenting in Malaysia has changed since the 20th century? With the advent of the internet and social media, now we have scary new challenges such as cyberbullying, breakdown of personal barriers, and internet addiction among the youth. Ladies and gentlemen, some of you in the audience are lucky because you have brought up your children during a time where such challenges were not rampant. But now, perhaps your children, as a parent, may be facing different scenario in terms of parenting. I am fortunately or unfortunately a 21st century parent, and so I have to deal with the challenges that I mentioned earlier. Let's understand why children are being attracted to social media. I want to take this example of what has happened to a teenager recently. Have you heard about the 14-year-old girl, Nur Amira Abdul Majid? This girl faked her abduction to run off with her boyfriend, whom she found over the internet. She thought she found love. This is because of the lack of communication in the family. She just found outsiders and outlet outside the home because she did not get enough love at home. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, girls eloping with boys is not new to our society. But what is new to our society is not only the neighbors will know, now the whole world will come to know. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, everybody will know that your daughter has run off with your friend's son. Of course, the issue is not that the story has gone viral, but the boy that our daughter may run off with is found in social media. And before we can bring her back, maybe she taken away for another country. Yes, as parents, we face embarrassment, but the victim is not us, it's our children. Ladies and gentlemen, one way to decrease access of the social media is to prevent the overuse of gadgets. Parents should control the use of gadgets of their children, as it could also have negative effects on their communication skills. But controlling gadgets alone will not make us good parents. So how can we improve our parenting skills? First, listening to our children. When we're talking to our children, actually listen to what they are saying. Let them know that we care about them. Let's communicate honestly with our children. Develop consistent routines and be involved in their education and development. Let's be generous with our praise children for their effort and not for their results. This teaches a child that he has control over his success. But we need to discipline our child however much we love them. Discipline means to teach and train. We have to help the child to control and set standards for himself. There are 3 ways can make children behave. First, using force. Second, using fear. And third, using punishment. However, these 3 methods only make children angry, resentful, fearful, and dependent upon force. This is not recommended at all. There is another way to discipline our children. Let's not take it out on our kids. Treat our children with respect. Though it may not get the immediate result, it's safer, more humanistic, and natural. The cane is not a good idea. Words and hugs can be more effective. Fellow parents, so what are the tools available in the 21st century mom and dad? The do's. Encourage their independence. Allow your child to express his feelings. Set aside time each day to give your child undivided attention. Get to know their teachers. Show children that you like them by smiling at them, hugging them, and speaking them in a positive way. Do not embarrass children by yelling at them in public. Do not set your expectations so high that the chance of failure prevents your child from trying. Do not compare one child to another. Parenting in 21st century may have challenges, but they can definitely be overcome with our bountiful love for our children. We must not be addicted to the gadgets because children copy parents. Your child's self-esteem is the child's best asset. Thank you for your attention.
The next speaker is a research assistant at Mizan Research Center. She has a bachelor's degree in environmental science and technology and a master's in developmental science, and currently doing her PhD on environmental philosophy and ethics. I'd like to invite Mrs. Noor Azwani Yusuf to tell us why we reap what we sow with her speech. Reap what we sow.
We are in the midst of an environmental crisis. Environmental pollution threatens our planet. Pollution is destroying the living environment and endangering the human existence. As we know, environmental pollution like waste disposal, by uncontrolled dumping, as Shikin mentioned before, is one of the major problems happen in our country, especially in the city. Also, open burning by responsible people who burn things without conscience also added to these problems. Last year, bauxite mining in Pahang had polluted Pahang's drinking water. This problem happened due to the poor practices in bauxite mining in Pahang that expose people to the various health threats. It is scientifically proven that the contaminated water are dangerous to humans when they consume that water. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you what happened in Japan in 1960 due to heavy metals found in the south coastal area of Agano River. The Minamata disease broke out. I remember during my first degree at UPM, my lecturer showed a heartbreaking video regarding the Minamata disease. What is the effect of the contaminated water? At that time, it had affected the fish in the ocean due to heavy metal, and this brought a horrible impact on people and animals like cats who ate the contaminated fish. The people and the cat shown in the video were trembling and hopping around. It was reported that 55 cases happened due to this disease, including 17 deaths. So, I won't let the same situation happen in my country. There is a solution for the environmental problem, but unfortunately, the change in the human behavior very slow. I know that we will not be able to change overnight, but at least we have to make an effort to minimize the problems. So, environmental research agreed that the main cause that led to this apathy is the lack of human consciousness towards the environment. The influence of individuals towards the environment should not be ignored. We need to appreciate that our nature is our own home, and we need to take adequate care of it. So, the fundamental issue is our environmental worldview. That is how we look at and how we react with our environment. Environmental worldview can be said to be as an idea or belief on how the world works, number one, what our role in the world should be, and what our environmental ethics towards the environment. So, I want to quote Miller. He said that the way we view the seriousness of the environmental problems and how to solve them depends on our environmental worldview. Basically, scholars promote many types of environmental worldview. One of them is planetary management worldview, which believes that planet is the most important and we need to be in charge of its resources. Second worldview is stewardship worldview, which brings the concept that human beings as caretakers of nature who hand over to the next generation. Third, nature-centered worldview, which believes that nature exists for all species and we are not in charge of the earth. Last, the fourth is human-centered worldview, which brings the concept that humans need not follow a doctrine or adopt a set of beliefs or values that doesn't convince human personally, and human can do anything they like towards the environment. Okay, so here we have four types of environmental worldview. According to the environmental worldview mentioned above, clearly we can conclude that all the worldview recommended by the environmental scholar all have the same objective, that is, our planet should not be destroyed. In my opinion, all of them cannot be separated into the different worldviews because of the interconnection of each other. We, as a human being, are created by God and have the ability, and also we have the responsibility to take care of our environment. But I believe it is enough to have one type of worldview, that is, and mold our action accordingly. The knowledge behind every worldview is wisdom for humanity. For example, human-centered worldview may seem selfish because humans have power to exploit the environment as they will. But humans are created with the element of intellect, with the element of heart, and also with the element of need. So, the combination of the great intellect, pure heart, and need as the basic knowledge of the human-centered worldview will provide comprehensive knowledge on what human-centered worldview is all about. They know that if they take too much today, they have less tomorrow. Ladies and gentlemen, as a conclusion, what we give, we will get back. Same goes to our environment. If we treat our environment with care, surely our environment will give us the best services in terms of good quality of air, water, food, and also shelter. We as a human being need to appreciate the noble gift from God to us, which is our nature. It is not for us solely, but we are keepers of nature to be handed over to our next generation. And last but not least, I like to leave you with this quotation by Mahatma Gandhi. Our planet has enough for man to live, but not enough for man's sleep. Thank you very much.
We are at halfway mark with our fifth speaker, who is an assistant registrar in Mizan Research Center. She has a Bachelor of Counseling with honors. She enjoys counseling and giving guidance to change people's lives for the better. Miss Wan Nurliana Wan Zulkifli will deliver a speech entitled Fair and Fast.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and very good morning to our distinguished guests and friends. How many of you have eaten fast food last week? How many of you have eaten fast food last month? Okay. How many of you haven't had fast food since early this year? Okay, alright. It would be great to know that a lot of us didn't consume fast food for a long time. In this modern era, our eating habits, food consumed, and food preferences have changed tremendously. One survey I came across says 85% consume fast food, and then 15% says home cooked and local food. In Malaysia, the American franchises have been dominating the fast food and restaurant industries, such as KFC, McDonald's, Subway, and so on. And many of us criticize the West, especially the American, but we are still happily sit in those restaurants and eat fast food. Where are our principles? Today, in my talk, I want to share with you about eating habits and then health impact. Lastly is effects on local food industry. Indeed, we have become a slave of fast food. Why is this so? Fast food is a culture, is a trend among the youngsters. Its impact can be seen on the whole society, whether we belong to the lower class, middle class, or the elite class. We have to re-educate our youth about fast food because they think it is so cool to eat fast food. Next is time constraints, busy lifestyle, longer working hours, and career women all go after fast food. This is because they embrace fast food because it is so easy instead of cooking at home. Fast food is gaining popularity among working parents who are busy, and definitely they have less time for meal preparation at home. This directly affects their eating habits. Furthermore, with increasing work demands to maintain higher living standards, more families require both parents to work. This trend causes busy parents to choose the types of food that are quickly to prepare and convenient
too just love the taste of fast food. They are accustomed to the seasoning and flavor, and they are addicted to fast food. Okay, eating habit shapes the development of eating behavior of everyone in the family. Psychologically, parents' attitudes and beliefs related to fast food affect children fast food consumption. Naturally, their family influence their family and friends who surround them, and this means fast food chains getting richer. In fact, globalization and urbanization have changed the lifestyles of Malaysians in the diet. This has affected our health and increased chronic disease in the population. The research shows that the population achieves affluence. Intake of calories, fats and sugars increase, as well as the rapid growth of the fast food industry, but taste, convenience and speed make fast food items the first choice for the majority of Malaysians. I want to highlight the ingredient in the fast foods. It contains chemical flavor, which means it is very poor in nutrition. The preparation has preservatives to make it last longer, and it's very harmful to our health. Also, there is too much of oil. Lots of oil is needed when you have to cook fast. Fat and calories are difficult to digest, and in our body, and undigested fat and calories will be accumulated in our body and lead to heart failure. The government worldwide are bracing themselves for an obesity epidemic soon. The next time you craving for fast food, don't run to KFC or whatsoever. Replace it by eat raisins or nuts and drink low-fat milk with honey. The food we eat affects our body and mind. Now that we understand the problem, it's time to fix it by eating food that gives nutrition for our precious life. Keep calm and say no to junk food. Please remember, we are what we eat. That's all from me. Thank you.
Our sixth speaker is a research assistant in Mizan Research Center for Qalb Leadership Research. She has a bachelor's and a master's in public management. Her passion is to do research on leadership, policy management and ethics. Please welcome Mrs. Nurul Ain Shazwani on Masala to deliver her speech on the 21st century leader.
Unfortunately, I soon realized that the management at the university was really bad. You see, certain institution may look good from the outside, but inside it can be rotten. Okay. Anyway, I left that university and was lucky indeed to get job in University Saint Islam Malaysia. Yes, USIM. We in USIM are fortunate as we have a management board that has their finger on the pulse of the university. In my talk this morning, I want to highlight the problem when there is a poor management. Then I will explain the concept of soul leadership, and we will see a couple of examples of leadership, good and bad. In my previous place of work, the problem was poor management of employees and customers. Customers in university are the student, and the employees include not only teaching staff but also janitorial and administrative staff. They all need to be managed properly. In fact, some higher learning institutions face the problem of having inadequate number of students and staff and keep wondering why that is so without realizing the problem actually comes from the poor management. One of the main issues that cause this problem is the absence of soul in leadership. I came to this conclusion while attending a talk given by Professor Tan Sri Sri Abdul about fearless leadership in higher education. And being previously hired by a university as the administrative staff and experiencing the poor management, I couldn't agree with him more. Before we understand what a soul-driven leadership is all about, we need to understand the spiritual needs in the workplace, which is positively influence the physical health and physical well-being and form the foundation for spiritual leadership. By tapping into these basic needs, spiritual leadership can produce follower trust, intrinsic motivation, and commitment. Spiritual leadership or soul-driven leadership bonds and motivates stakeholders in the university, from student to staff. Spiritual leadership emerged from the desire for non-materialistic rewards. The emergence of spiritual leadership that taps into the fundamental needs of both leader and followers and creates a sense of membership within the group. An ongoing research at USIM suggests that to develop spiritual leadership, leaders must first look within their heart to fully grasp the true meaning of spiritual leadership. Now, this concept may seem a bit fuzzy at the beginning, but eventually it seems makes sense when we understand how to nurture the heart and how to apply it to effective leadership. For instance, many successful Asian countries such as Japan, South Korea, and China have great internationally known companies, but they also have the highest numbers of suicide cases ranging from the ages 15 to 45, especially in South Korea. That is because of lack of heart and humanness. When the focus is put simply on the outcome of what a learning institution or company can produce, it becomes no different than a company that makes a product on a production line. Companies and learning institutions should not treat their employees or customers as machines or items on the production line. There is a need to explore the human sides of these people so that workers work harder and students study better. Imam Al-Ghazali, a well-known Islamic scholar or philosopher, states that good traits and behavior come from 4 cardinal virtues. These virtues are wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance. These virtues come from a tranquil heart, and a tranquil heart comes from having God consciousness. God consciousness is actually being conscious that every action that we do on this earth is being watched by God. To conclude, soul, spirit, and heart must be in our mind to achieve a happy
introduce our next speaker, who is the secretary to the chairperson of the Board of Governors. She has a diploma in Office Management and Technology. I give you Mrs. Suhaila Ahmad, who will speak on lifelong learning. Lifelong learning, Mrs. Suhaila Ahmad.
Very good morning, distinguished guests and all my friends. On the 22nd of June 2016, I was chosen to come to join for an intensive English class. With a lot of apprehension, I am wondering whether I can learn the language that was taught since small but rarely use it. I was promised in 20 lessons I will be able to speak fluently without any hesitation and to write with ease, which everybody can understand. At this particular moment, I am standing confidently. I have embraced lifelong learning. I don't want to stop learning. I want my mind to learn. I want my mind to learn and discover new things each day. Today is the 20th class and I stand in front of you to give the 7-minute talk. This is lifelong learning. So, what is the meaning of lifelong learning? Do we start learning from kindergarten, from primary, or from secondary? Or do we stop learning after our diploma and degree? When we get 4th flat, do we stop learning? Or when we keep failing, will we abandon learning? Let's start from ground zero. As a baby, we learn how to crawl. Then, we walk step by step. Do we all just start running? No, of course not. We will make sure that our very own first step is firm before we start running. Humans biologically are created to have the need to upgrade their life for the better. We will want more and more. Why learning English so essential? It may not be the most spoken language in the world, though it will remain the official language in a large number of countries. It is estimated that the people who use English on a regular basis is 2 billion. Wow, this is quite a number. For an instance, during the Mizan conference and being able to speak in English immediately opened an opportunity for me to communicate with all the contestants and being able to communicate with foreigners. I realized that learning English is beautiful. Other than English, another area that I am learning is about cars. Technology has changed and there is no other choice. We have to keep up with it. I always left my car maintenance to my husband, but now I realize that I have to understand the possession that takes me to work and everywhere I go. For example, we can learn on a simple basic of the car. Firstly, check the tire pressure. Always make sure your tire pressure is enough before you start your engine, because the lesser the tire pressure, it may cost you more fuel consumption. Secondly, while checking the tire pressure, please bend down your head to look over any leakage under your car before you start your engine. Make sure your radiator fan is functioning automatically, because your fan functions when your engine temperature is hot enough. How? That is why we have to warm up our engine in the morning or before our first ride of the car. Once a month, do check the car. There are 2 types of battery. One is dry cell, the other one is water-based cell. For dry cell, just push the button on the battery and indicator will show you. Green light means good battery. Red or orange means your battery is nearly to condemn. For no more battery, just check the water level battery. I am so excited about my knowledge that I received in my lifelong learning. Nowadays, we cannot rely on our salary 100%. After finish our graduation, I am planning to solve my next lifelong learning milestone. There is a good prospect in sewing, an extremely engaging activity, not only to generate my income, but for my satisfaction. I can make my own clothes. I could tailor my clothes perfectly according to my size, so I can look fabulous. I can create great gifts for holidays, birthday, any day. Life is not about knowledge, it is about our body. Research has been done. When you learn something new, the formation of new neural networks in the visual cortex to a simple homeostatic rule. The human brains keep changing throughout a person's lifetime. The more skill you have, you will create new synaptic connections. Well, that brings me to the end of my talk. We are never too late to learn something new. Use it or lose it. Learning is the tonic of life. As Mahatma Gandhi said, live as if you were to die tomorrow. Learn as if you were to live forever. Thank you for this time.
We have with us now another assistant registrar at the Faculty of Leadership and Management. He has a degree in microbiology and also has a passion in lifelong learning. Please put your hands together for our speaker, Mr. Sharazmi Anas, whose speech title is Impact of Social Media. Impact of Social Media, Mr. Sharazmi Anas.
Assalamualaikum and very good morning to our distinguished guests and friends. Social media is the future of communication. It's a web-based communication tools that enable people to interact with each other by sharing photos, text, audio, videos, and information through the internet. Examples of social media are Facebook, Twitter, MySpace, and Instagram. The younger generation use social media as a source of information rather than mass media such as newspaper, radio, and television. The usage of social media is increasing every day. For example, in 2016, Facebook added 500 new users every day, which made it as 6 new profiles every second. Another example is there is 400 million monthly active users on Instagram, and over 80 million photos are being uploaded each day. While when Instagram introduced video, more than 5 million were shared in just 24 hours. These numbers are staggering and shows that social media are widely used by the people around the globe. We cannot deny the purpose of social media is to make our life easier. Social media have removed all the barriers social media have removed all the communication and interaction barriers. This allow us to communicate with other people anytime and anywhere as long there is an internet connection. Also, the cost using social media is tremendously cheaper compared to the telephone lines. Social networks help the businesses in variety of ways. Traditional marketing such as radio, television, and print advertise are no longer used and are out of date. Using social media, the businesses can connect directly to their targeted customers for free and only cost their energy and time. through Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and any other social media, the marketing cost can be reduced and the response time is also short. This is one of the reasons why people like to choose social media for marketing their product. Many people like to use social media as a source of information, as it can provide instant news faster than traditional news outlets. Many newspaper companies have taken the initiative to create online newspaper because of the change of information medium. This change happens because people prefer to see real-time news for the current issues. Although there are many positive impacts of the social media, there are also negative impacts in using social media. Spending countless time on social media can lead to an addiction. While social media can be a great place to meet new people, reconnect with old friends, or even start romantic relationships, online relationships are not healthy substitute for real-life interaction. Addiction to social media can extend to the point where virtual and online friends are more important than your real-life relationship. We all can see a couple sitting together in a restaurant, ignoring each other but focusing on their cell phone or smartphone. As I said before, people like to use social media as a source of information. Although the information from social media is fast and quicker than the newspaper, however, the information not always accurate, and sometimes the information is a fake information. This happens because there is no authorization of information in the social media. Anybody can post anything in the social media and spread and share with everyone, whether it's true or not. Another negative impact of social media is when users share too much about private information about themselves in the social media. It could pose threat to themselves, as Nolita mentioned. The news become viral. Although users usually post their location and photos in the social media just for fun with their friends and family, oversharing information can cause other people know there is vulnerability and potentially opens them up to being robbed. Robbers can use social media to detect user movement, Robbers can use social media to detect user movement to determine whether they are alone, whether the victim are alone or not at home. It is important to remember that social media are public. They are consequent for what you post. In conclusion, social media is a tool that invented by human beings for the purpose to connect with people. The rise of social media have changed the way of life compared to the generation before. Social media should bring you closer to the people far away from you. However, it is taken you away from the people sitting next to you. Whether social media is a good or bad is determined by you. Human beings should be educated with the ethics of using social media, and parents should play an important role in controlling their children's social media use. This technology should make the world a better world than before, not unsafe place. Therefore, we should think what the effect to our life will be whenever we use the social media. Values realized relationship around us more than your virtual and online friends. That's all from me.
Our ninth speaker is the Secretary to the Registrar and has a diploma in Secretarial Sciences. She firmly believes everyone can look good if they take the trouble and follow some basic rules. We have here Mrs. Nur Alizawati Ishaq, who will speak on less is more. Less is more.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. One of the Malaysian comedians said that gemuk is awesome. This new normal situation is not right. This is not true. Because obesity causes health problem. His statement is very dangerous, especially to children who may consider that being obese is great. Years ago, I was an overweight woman. My weight at that time was 72 kilograms and I am only 147 cm. At that time, I had no confidence in myself. I often got tired and my legs were painful when I walk. People around me made jokes about my body shape. Therefore, I decided to lose weight and have a healthy lifestyle. Malaysia is now facing the problem of obesity, both with children and adults. Findings from the 2015 National Health Survey place Putrajaya as the city with the highest percentage of overweight and abdominally obese people in the country. Abdominally obese means people with a very big stomach. The study also suggests that the administrative capital's population has a 37% chance of being overweight, while the obesity rate stood at 43%. Even more startling is that the government and semi-government employees take the cake as those struggling most with obesity with a 40.3% rate. This would mean 2 out of every 5 of Malaysian civil servants may be obese. Malaysian Civil Service has 1.4 million employees, according to the Prime Minister's Office, and is the largest civil service in Southeast Asia. Other obesity demographics pointed out in the survey were Indians, 43.5%, married adults, 33.8%, and those who only study up to secondary school, 32.1%. So, if you are not working with the government, if you are not Indians, if you are not married, and if you are not a student, then you are safe. Obesity is different from being overweight. When you are overweight, the weight may come from muscles, bones, fats, and or body water. Both terms that a person's weight is greater than what considered healthy for his or her height. Most people who are trying to lose weight focus on just the goal of weight loss. However, setting the right goals and focusing on lifestyle changes such as following a healthy eating plan, watching portion sizes, being people and from the people who carry the excess weight. Make just a few changes in your lifestyle and you can live longer. A recent study found that 4 bad behaviors: smoking, drinking too much alcohol, not exercising, and not eating enough fruit and vegetables can hustle you into an early grave. You can look old, 12 years more than your chronological age. There are some tips to have healthy dietary pattern. Choose wisely what you eat, watch your calorie intake, eat small portions, prepare and eat healthier meals at home, and drink plenty of water. We also need an exercise regime to improve our body metabolism. Do you know that we need 70% contribution from our diet to lose weight and 30% from the exercise? It is not magic that from 72 kilograms I became 54 kilograms. It's just a matter of willpower. I did it because I had an incident that made me realize that I look older than my actual age. One day I went to my sister's school to meet her, when a student called me makcik, even though I was just 27 years old. I was shocked and it blew me. Starting from that day, I made an effort to lose weight and have a healthy lifestyle. Now I am very happy because USIM has a healthy lifestyle program and has appointed ambassadors for USIM Fit to ensure we are healthy and active. Thank you.
Now, finally, we have with us also a research assistant who has a degree in architecture. He enjoys dabbling in art and design, but today he will give us some insight into a topic that is of concern to many of us. The last speaker for today's program, Mr. Muhammad Adila Muhammad Haini, will speak on a topic entitled The Mismatch.
Good morning, distinguished guests and friends. The month of April is a very important month in Malaysia. It is once again time for aspiring youth to compete for that precious place in the university. Everybody should undergraduate has a choice of 12 programs that they can apply for in any of the 16 public universities. But unfortunately, this is not a real option as it is based on our school results. Let me explain this scenario. If you have only the minimum qualification, you can just choose based on your qualifications, and that may not be much. Applicants just fill in the safer course and successful to enter a university. Any university, any course. They don't think about the future like jobs, career, or further studies. Of course, if your results are good, you have the real choice. Now, after you have applied, you just have to sit tight and pray. 2 months later, the response from the universities come. The recipients are divided into 4 groups. The first group is the happiest. They get their first choice in terms of the course and the university they have been hoping all this while, as it is their interest and they definitely have the qualification as they have worked for it. The second group, they don't really get the course they want as their first choice, as their qualification has fallen short of requirement. But well, they get the course they chose, though it was at the bottom of the list. I'll come to the third group later. Let me explain about the fourth group first. The fourth group doesn't even get a chance to further study in the university. They may need to appeal and they may still fail to continue the study even they have made the appeal. Let me go back to the third group. The third group, They choose the course based on their interest and with their minimum qualifications. But, well, they get to further study in the university, but unfortunately, the course that they get is not what they have chosen in the list. I am in the third group anyway. Thank God that I still got a chance for teacher education, and I am positive that it has been planned by God, and who knows my strength and will not be something I cannot cope. Nevertheless, what I'm doing is not my dream. When there are three of these factors why students graduate do not manage to get jobs. The first, they choose the wrong course. The second, too choosy when finding jobs. And the third, the country's economic situation is not conducive. When students choose any course, as long as they can continue to study in university, there will be a problem when they want to find a job. By the time they graduate, they found that the knowledge level that they have is not up to the mark and considered not valuable by the industry. So they cannot proceed with their career. At the same time, there are also cases where students who choose the wrong course also do not get the jobs because the course not even required by the industry. The next factor is being too choosy when finding jobs. This factor is particularly so with those who are not practical. They want to find a job near their hometown. Some of them start a business but have no idea how to make it successful, and they have to close shop. I couldn't find a job after I graduated, so I grabbed the opportunity given by USIM to be a research assistant. Well, I'm not choosy. Of course, every university graduate desires to have a job that relates with the course and interest. But because what is the purpose of studying that course if you do not go to work in that field? Last but not least factor is country's economic situation. The country's economic situation is reflected through the decreasing number of industrial development, infrastructure, price increase, currency collapse, and a host of factors beyond control. Many indirectly, they have led to increase in employment. Many private companies have reduced the number of the new employees. Government is also doing the same thing. And to work with the government nowadays is not easy. In fact, almost all graduates who get the scholarship given by public service department do not get the call. Who are under contract to work with the government do not get the call. Besides, almost all medical students and dentistry students who are financed by the government have to wait for 1 year before they get their courses. Apparently, even those courses, those who are with the courses with a great potential in job industry also are not employed. On the other hand, day by day, so many universities are offering the same course, and later all of them later need to compete and scramble for jobs. Vicious circles continues to spin, and universities never learn. Solutions for unemployability are so complex. Students should identify the course they have chosen and how they affect their future career. Even though students' career path is still vague at secondary level and matriculation stage, but at least they should ask advice from those who are working in management positions. About being too choosy when finding jobs, graduates should avoid this kind of practice as it is difficult to find jobs nowadays. It is better to doing something rather than do nothing. You may get used to doing nothing if you are not working, and which will become one's habit, and it will affect potential soft skills and knowledge. About economic situation, explore the most popular skills in the industries to avoid become the victim of the economic downturn. My advice to the graduates: brand yourself. My advice to graduates is do read and research about industry's preferences. Do read and research about all of it. Brand yourself. And then the Salim Kabisi. Thank you.
We have come to the end of our presentation. Now, before we move on, I would like to call upon Emeritus Professor Dr. Hoob Muhammad Saleh to give a short speech on his thoughts on today's program. Please, welcome to the stage.
7 minutes. My speech. Vice Chancellor, Dr. Cassandra, and the graduates of today. My speech is going to be so long, in the last 2 minutes. All right. This has been a tremendous experience the last hour or so, and it has been due as much to hard work as well as to the sense of adventure. Yeah, the sense of adventure that Tan Zul mentioned that we embarked upon, and we are seeing the fruits of it. I'm very happy to see such great talent. One of them said, you don't use it, you lose it. And this is a message to the Vice Chancellor. Yeah? My friend, the Vice Chancellor and colleague at universities where I have worked for more than 40 years. A lot of talent has not been tapped. If you don't tap the talents, it will just die like that. There's more and more people working in universities now. And although now there's not much money going into universities, this is a lesson, a good lesson. What talent you have, use it. And you can see the exemplification of it today. Yeah, Dr. Rizul has been doggedly getting us to be doing this. And Vice Chancellor has charmingly come and to attend. And that is part and parcel of the great surprise of today. So most of the speeches have been either about narrative of life, yeah, how I lost 30 pounds, yeah, in such a short time, or it is about how people learn throughout their life. So this life narrative is always enriching, and we do not know enough about it. As an anthropologist, this is one of the wealths that you have in a country, in any university, and that should be exploited. We should know the weaknesses and the strength of our own stuff. Yeah? A lot of us go through the university, and in the end they get a bit tired of the university. No, it should be just the opposite. You get to be respecting the university and love the university when you leave. I worked in KM for 25 years, and now I needed a change. So USIM was the big thing. Glad to be here. Glad to be here. Secondly, I think what you were saying was about life and about ethics. There was so much ethics in all the papers, in all the delivery. Yeah, it reflects, I think, the concerns, the contemporary concerns of people. And I'm so glad that here we have the researchers. They don't realize it, but they are the researchers telling us. And a lot of them tell you in your face. Yeah? Tell you in your face, this university is hopeless. Yeah? And they're very, that means they are courageous. They want to tell you what can be done about a certain place. Yeah? And the other narratives are about health. Yeah? The health of people, which I think is rather neglected in universities. I hate to say it, but most academics are not so healthy. Yeah? Most academics do not exercise. The 30% that, who was saying it? 30% that does not exercise, well done. Well done, I congratulate you for saying that. The facilities are there, but they are always underused. And perhaps if they are used only for popular games. If you see the centers of activity here, they only use part-time.
So in all, I think you have done well. The tremendous talent is there for the taking. And I want to particularly congratulate the guru. Please, the guru. She has worked so hard. I could see how hard she worked. And once in a while, I just drop in. Yeah, it's not an intervention. It's just my way of doing things. I enjoy it. What we can do now is to go on to the next level. Vice Chancellor, I think we can do it, and we have the resources. There are many ways of creating synergy in regard to money. There's not much money left, but we can get companies, for instance. And Tan Sri Zul is a great man at that. Yeah, I don't know whether he's a rich man or not. Never tells me, but that's it. He's rich in ideas, tremendously rich in ideas. Is that right?
Yes.
And Cassandra, thank you for your nice speech. I hope you will come again for the second round. Okay, thank you.
Now we will present the certificates to the participants who have successfully completed the English Language for Communication program. I invite Professor Dr. Cassandra Kalevani Nadaraja to present the certificates, accompanied by Professor
Okay.
We start our certificate presentation with Nur Ashikin Musbah. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Here. Okay.
Next we have Ms. Norita Muhammad Noor. Next, Ms. Nur Azwani Yusuf. Ms. Wan Noriana Wan Zulkifli. Ms. Nur Ain Shazwani Muhammad Shazlan. Ms. Shuhaida Ahmad. Shahrasmi Anas. Ms. Nur Alizawati Ishaq.